everybody, and welcome to another edition of Joe's Rod Shop podcast. Yeah, great to have everybody back on the show. All right, so before we get started, I want to remind you guys on Saturday, 6:30 p.m., Rod Shop Season 4 starts. We talked to Brett from Rockford Fosgate, and he talks to us about the history of car sound in South Africa. It's a really cool episode, and we also kick off the Rockford Army with it. So yeah, go check it out. DSTV channel 189 Ignition Rod Shop. Don't miss it. Okay, now also just a bit of a reminder, click that like and subscribe button. Please, we'd love to hear from you guys, and follow the show. And remember, it's available on so many different platforms. All right, now on to today's show. I got the chance to talk to Vincent and Gary from Shelby USA, as in Shelby headquarters. This is the president and the vice president of Shelby completely, like the big one. Great guys. They had to get up at like 5 o'clock in the morning to talk to me. Great conversation, great bunch of guys. And yeah, I really hope you guys enjoy the show. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for being on the show, man. I'm so happy to talk to you guys. But it's like 5 o'clock in the morning on your side, isn't it?
Yeah, we've already been here an hour.
Yeah.
What time do you guys normally start?
4 a.m.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's we work 4 till 2:30, 4 days a week, and then that way it gives us Friday for overtime if we have to do anything, and then that way the guys got a nice weekend. We always have 2 days off, if not 3 days.
Oh, that's actually a very nice way to work.
Yes.
Well, and we have, pretty hot here in the summer, so it gives them cooler shop in the summertime.
No, obviously. And how's things been on your side? Look, I mean, from what we've seen on TV, things are a little bit rough, or interesting, if we can use those words.
A lot of it's just politics because the media is totally biased. So, they're making it much worse than it is.
Obviously. But that's why we suggest all we should do is talk about cars.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's what we're here to do.
To tell you the truth, we haven't slowed down at all. That hasn't slowed down production. It hasn't slowed down the flow through the shop as far as people coming in to the stores, people coming into the Heritage Center. Everything has just been basically, I'd say about 70% all the time.
Yeah, the store's a little slow, but the shop has been good. We've had some supply chain stuff, but for the most part, Vince is right. I mean, it's been good.
So this lockdown and everything hasn't really affected Shelby that much.
It has some, but we've when you get lemons, you make lemonade. You got to figure it out. It's like anything else, you adapt. You look at our retail business because the town has been much less as far as visitors and things like that. It's about 35% of what it was, but our online business now, we've really worked on that, and that's more than doubled. So when you look at the differences, we've made up in one area what we lost in another, at least close to it. So we, it's like anything else. You learn, you adapt, you figure it out.
Exactly. Look, I so far everyone we've spoken to, they've said the same thing. A lot of the guys we've spoken to over the last year and stuff all said very busy, production and stuff is going. It's just you have to pivot and you have to change your mindset. A lot of guys used to depend on shows and exhibitions and that type of stuff. Obviously, those are gone. So it didn't mean that people wanted their products less. They just had to get to their clients differently, if I want to put it that way.
Well, and the other thing that we found out is, people want things that they can do at home. And so now you've got collector cars, new toys that they want, because if they're staying home, they want something to do and something to collect. And so actually that market's actually been really good.
I mean, Shelby is such an iconic brand over the years. I mean, and there's like every petrol head that's out there wants a pot of Shelby. There has to be something Shelby somewhere, you know, whether it's a model car, a t-shirt, a cap, or anything going in there. It's just because it's one of the ultimate car brands of all time.
Right, right. And we're honored to be a part of that and continuing the legacy. And that's how the legacy continues, is not just with Vince and I, but with everybody here at the shop and all of you people out there that are enthusiasts. And that's how the legacy continues.
And now last year, was it last year or the year before, when Ford versus Ferrari came out? I mean, did that make a big impact for Shelby? Did it like start the fires back up more for the historic stuff than the new stuff?
Yeah, it really did. It really, our visitors went up about 35%, which was great. But more than anything, it really introduced the brand to a whole group of people that didn't really know, the brand or the story or whatever, especially, some of the younger people. So it really got everybody excited about it and told the story. And it was quite entertaining at the theater. And a lot of that stuff, Vince and I knew Carroll very well, and we worked with him, and we could certainly see Carroll saying and doing pretty much all of those things that were in the movie.
Yeah, they did.
So Matt Damon got it right.
Yeah, they did a very good job. I mean, they stretched a few things, but all in all, it was very good. We were surprised when Matt did such a good job. We were just going like us. We were a little worried at first, but hey, when it came down to it, it was really good. They both did a great job in the movie.
Well, look, me personally, I was excited when that came out because it moved away from the Gone in 60 Seconds that was a Shelby.
Right.
I knew that was built by Chip and this type of stuff, but unfortunately, all young people just thought that is what a Shelby Cobra looked like. Yeah, and the real car guys were like, no, that's not.
Exactly. Yeah, it's nice because like Gary was saying, it's brought a younger crowd into the museum. Now we're able to bring people in. Another unique thing that we do here at the facility is we actually bring people out on the floor. So we have a wall. You can go out in the factory, watch the cars being built. So what a lot of people don't understand is actually how much work is done on the car, how much we actually do, how much we replace, how much of the design is totally changed from the stock Mustang. So they finally get to come out here and actually witness those kind of things. So it's growing a huge interest. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So it's been nice. It's kind of a little bit of a resurgence. And like Gary says, we're getting into a younger crowd, and to keep this business alive, that's where we have to go.
But I think it also, what the part that I loved about it was everybody knew Shelby for the Mustang. I mean, the GT40 was this groundbreaking car that came out. But when you speak to people and it was, talk about Shelby, it was the Mustang. This brought back that history of, that was such a phenomenal thing of how that all came together and the GT40 being built. And I love maybe because I love history so much. I love the fact that it brought that attention back. That's where it starts. That's where the whole relationship and everything started building up.
What's kind of neat is when you look at his shop, the way he runs people, everything like that, there's no politics. We're all here for one reason, and that's to make cars go fast and to make cool products, and we still do that. We try to continue the tradition by doing the same thing. We make sure that everything is right. As a matter of fact, last weekend, Friday, me and Gary were at the track testing. So really? We actually test all our own stuff before we put it out. So what were right here in front of you.
So what were you testing, if I may ask?
We were doing some wheel testing, some suspension testing. So we've got the new 500 where we're doing some new springs, some new algorithms on the suspension. We did some different engine tuning. So we're kind of dialing in the performance part of the 500. And then we were also trying out a new style rim. So we went out and ran those for, to see how they were going to work and how they were going to perform. So these are the kind of things that we do. A lot of people look at us and, they say, oh, these are the guys that run the company. No, We're the guys that run the company, but we're the guys that are at the track that are testing the product before the product goes into production. If it doesn't, if we don't say okay, it doesn't go into production.
You know, and the other thing is, you know, we are big enthusiasts ourselves. So Vince and I both own Shelby cars, you know, an array of those ourselves. And you probably can't see it, but I still got grease under my fingernails from putting fuel injection on my 69 Mach 1 over the weekend. So we would do this anyway.
Yeah.
We're enthusiasts just like you, just like everybody listening. We're enthusiasts. We just, you know, have a pretty cool job where we can go play in the candy store every day.
Yeah.
Over the years, obviously Ford's been doing a lot of development to improve the Mustang. Surely it must get harder for Shelby to, I mean, because Shelby is that, it's that next step, that next level. Surely it must get harder over the years to keep adding on top of it. I mean, do you guys get the new Mustang in and it's like, oh, hell, okay. So where do we go from here?
The advantage that we have is we work closely with Ford. So we can actually go during the development of the new product and we can talk to the engineers and we ask them, you know, if it was you and you wanted to make it better, what would you have done? So we can kind of get a little bit of an insight. So we start working on it, you know, before the product comes out. And then when the product comes out, then we already know, we already have a set parameter of what we're going to test, what we want to look at, what we want to do. And then we'll start developing the products and then we'll start testing the products. And once we find the products that work the best, that have actually accelerated the vehicle to where we want to be, then we go ahead and we'll put that into production.
Oh, that's actually
But yes, it is getting harder.
Ford's done a fabulous job with these cars, but to Vince's point, I mean, you know, we go to Ford Motor Company on a regular basis and talk to them, and the engineers are very good about sharing information and, you know, kind of what would you do if, you know, you had more time or money or this or that, and they've been very good at sharing information. And then, you know, sometimes we do things and, you know, it's just, some of it's still a little bit like the movie, you know, they're still, you know, bogged down in the big process. The process is a little simpler here.
Yeah,
exactly.
Exactly. We just get it done. And sometimes, you know, having the big computer in the car doesn't always tell you exactly what's going to happen in real life or what's going on. You have to feel it and you know, feel it in your driver's seat and what it's like to sit behind the wheel and do it real time. And there's really, you know, you can substitute, you can, you know, do a computer model, you can do all kinds of stuff, but at the end of the day, you got to go to the track and test.
Well, the nice part, I mean, Ford obviously have like a panel of people and they go, should we put a button here? And then like 40% come back no. And, you know, then these guys go yes. And other guys go and go, what button? Where you guys just go, we'll put it here, you know, and it's going to work. Exactly.
Well, and then, you know, we go out to the track like Vince and I did on Friday and we test it and we say, okay, does the button here really work for me in these situations?
Exactly.
And that's what you find, you know, like placement of gauges and stuff like that. And we're looking at, you know, not only traditional stuff, but we're looking at new technology on where do you put those things and how do they operate and what can you do to make it lighter, more reliable, you know, something that you could do, you know, more remote or, you know, something that'll help you foresee problems before they happen. So, you know, modern technology has actually been extremely good for us as well.
Mm-hmm.
Are you guys looking at, I mean, obviously the Shelby and, you know, we with Peter Lindenberg and then we've got Shelby in South Africa as well. Have you guys started looking at anything else besides the Mustang? I mean, I know on this side, we've got the Ranger Raptors and all this type of stuff. Have you guys started looking at that to see if you can put a Shelby touch on it?
We're not only looking at it, we're doing it. So here's the deal. Like probably 7 years ago, actually 8 years ago, we started dabbling in the trucks. And if you look at U.S. sales especially, you know, everything's kind of gone away from cars more to SUVs and trucks. If you look at our business model today, 75 to 80% of our business today is actually trucks. So we have a Shelby F-150, we've got a raised version, 4-wheel drive, all that, supercharged V8. We've got a lowered version, the same kind of thing, but more street performance, with the focus there. We've got a little Shelby Super Snake sport truck that's the same kind of thing, but single cab, short box, better suspension, better brakes, 0 to 60 in 3.45 seconds with a pickup truck. So you can, it is badass.
It
You
is.
you can go up and you pull up next to a guy with a Camaro, and he's going to have a bad day because you're going to lock it in 4-wheel drive and poof, off you go. So we're looking at all those things. We're looking at other markets and, globally as we expand our company. We know that full-size F-150s aren't available globally. So there are places where we may need to do a Ranger where it doesn't necessarily make sense to do it in the United States. It may make perfect sense to do it in places like Australia.
Australia, South Africa. We're here. I'll get a Mustang. I'll get one. Or I'll get a Ranger as soon as possible. Just tell me what we do. I'll start cutting. I don't mind. Because that's actually saying that you guys have actually done a lowered one. That's the one problem. I mean, I'm old school, so I think of those the low down trucks and this type of stuff, performance wagons and stuff. And you look at the modern pickup, and I know the big wheels and they raise and stuff, but sometimes you just want to see them slammed and big power. Something is going to pull up next to a 911 Porsche and just give it a run for its money while he's got beer sitting on the back. Because that's the way life should be.
Yeah.
You're going to go, what just happened?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
It's a lot of fun doing that kind of stuff, And that kind of came from the way we do design. We actually, we come up with the base vehicle that we're going to do. We prove that out. And then usually the third and fourth part of the year, end of the year, then we start doing our performance things. That's when we start doing the extra high performance things that we can offer to the guy that wants to track his car, or the guy with the truck that wants to go faster, those kind of things. So it works out kind of neat for us. We actually spend a lot of time on the ultra performance parts after we've developed the regular car.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So you're actually able to do that. So like I say on the 500 package, we're coming out with things right now that would be over and above what comes out on the package, so we still give you options. But like you're saying, the job that Ford's done is so good, it's making it very hard to make it better.
Look, you've got the Dodge Demons and these things that's coming out now, which is just ridiculous horsepower and this type of stuff. And obviously Ford doesn't want to produce something that goes up against something that the 900 horses or 700 horses on the thing. That means it puts that weight on guys like you shoulders to make sure that there's a Ford that's going to take on the Hellcat, and going to take on the Demon from a production.
Yeah, and Vince just said, 50 state legal, so we do it pump gas, still comply with all the emission stuff. We back our products with a warranty and things like that. But yeah, I mean, he and I will go to the drag strip and we'll go beat up on Hellcats. I mean, that's what we do. So, but we live it. We live it. We don't just talk it. We didn't just get a big degree from, Harvard or something like that. We actually live this thing, and we do it all the time. That's what we would do in our spare time anyway. Yeah. So,
Oh man, that is actually, you guys have the coolest job ever. I know there's a lot of car guys that think they have it, but the fact that you guys from Shelby can walk in the morning and go, we need to do this, and the process starts, and then take it and you can go play with it. You got to wonder a lot of times with these big companies, these guys that come up with the concepts, if they ever get the chance to go play with it, do they get their hands dirty with it?
And we've actually had time in different generations where somebody will come up with a design and it really looks good on paper. Right?
You're talking about everything Fox Body right now, aren't you?
No, we're actually talking about modern day stuff too, where we have an engineer come in and, it might work really good on a model car, but when it comes time to actually run it on the track, you find out that airflow, aerodynamics, it was funny, they used the yarn and all that stuff in the movie with the Ford GT, and they threw the computer out on the tarmac. Believe it or not, that kind of stuff still needs to take place.
Obviously.
Because
Yeah.
you need to make sure that not only does it work in the computer, but does the engine now overheat because you've made the aerodynamics so good,
Exactly.
that now you don't get enough airflow through the radiator and things like that. So we test those kind of things at a high level. What happens when you take, we were talking about Shelby trucks. We have a Shelby Raptor. We were having some of our customers were in Dubai. They would take them and run them in the deep sand, full throttle, for lengthy periods of time. Well, they weren't capable of doing that. So we had to put in, huge cooling systems for transmission and engine and all those support components. And then you could actually drive it in deep sand, wide open throttle, full boost, and it would run lap after lap after lap, even at 110 degrees outside.
What's kind of cool is we have a big advantage being out here in Las Vegas, because we have Death Valley, which is right over the hill. So it's 113 to 127 degrees in the sand. So we have that. We have mountains. We have different elevation racetracks that we can use in the area. It's very cold here in the wintertime. It doesn't snow every once in a while, but yet the weather's cold enough. So we try to do our suspension tire testing when it's cold, and then we do our engine as far as transmission cooling, engine cooling, everything in the summertime when it's hot. And that's when we do our aerodynamics and those kind of things. So that way we can give you a nice balanced car that'll work all the way around, through the years.
I've never thought about the fact, maybe that's why Area 51 is there close to you guys as well, They can make sure everything's covered. Are you guys, as EV is slowly creeping in to our world of V8, are the guys at Shelby playing with anything? You thinking about it? I mean, because Ford's now got, what's it, the Mustang
Mach-E.
Yeah, the Mach-E. Yeah. The only cool one I've seen so far is the one that Ken Block and them drove. It sounds like hell.
Yeah. That was cool.
Yeah. That one is cool. The other ones look like the Fox body of of a few years ago. So, are you guys looking at that going, that's coming? We're going to get to a point where we're going to have to start playing with that?
Yeah, we've actually been looking at that and testing things for quite a while now with those kinds of things. And we know the strengths, we know the weaknesses. We're still working on some of the solutions to all those things, and we're working with the guys at Ford too. So I think, Carroll was all about trying new things. We had a Cobra here in our museum that ran on hydrogen.
Oh, nice. Yes, I remember that.
Kinds of stuff. And, Vince and I drove it, and I guess I don't know if you drove it.
Yeah, I drove it.
You did drive it? Yeah. Anyway, we both drove it, and that was a lot of fun, but, that was not something that was going to make it in mainstream with the technology available at the time. So it was shelved. People talk about, all they want to do is remember the things that really worked well. Thomas Edison probably had the most patents of anybody in the world. He didn't talk about all the failures. He had a heck of a lot more failures than he had successes. So when we go out and we go to the track and we break something, it's not a failure. It's a learning opportunity.
Yeah.
What are you going to learn about it? What are you going to do about it? It's no different than what we have in the world today. It's okay. This is the situation. What are you going to do?
It's preempting where it's going to go. I mean, obviously, I will keep telling people, I don't think combustion engines will go anywhere. We love V8s too much. It's like shooting your dog. Okay, no one's going to do that. They're going to keep it around, and they're going to love it for as long. And it might mean that your V8 powered car is going to be your weekend car, and you're going to have to be driving, something electric on a daily basis. But that will always be there because we're car people. You know, horsepower,
And
horsepower. Sorry, say that
I
again.
was gonna say, as a car business, we have to change with the times also. So we're
Exactly.
gonna we have to look at these things. We have to be up on it. So when all this comes out, we're able to play with everybody else.
So what is next? What's next on in Shelby's what's it package of arsenal that's going to be hitting 2021, if I want to put it that way?
Well, we're working on several new programs and some new platforms and stuff like that, but you can't talk about all those things yet. So
That was a good intro. That was a good
I
try.
like it. I like it.
I got it. I had to try. And I'm just.
I like it.
Is there some of these new things coming to South Africa as well? Are we going to be seeing some stuff from coming to us?
So with the mod shops, they'll end up with some of the stuff that we can do here, but probably just after that. So we'll have to look at how that goes to the mod shops like we have with Peter Lindenberg in South Africa. But yeah, those technologies and everything will end up there. And we're excited about it.
I need to ask, is it hard working with multiple countries now around the world? Because I mean, you take the Mustang, you guys work in production, and you guys have your safety regulations and everything and admission regulations and stuff there. But now you start looking at Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, and everywhere else where Shelby wants to go, and the rules are different. Everything's a little bit different.
Absolutely. And I traveled the world a couple of years ago, especially not too much this last year, but before that, I was really on the road a lot. And what you find is exactly what you're talking about. Things are clearly different. The cultures are different. The roads are different. The expectations different. The demands that the customer wants are different. Performance is defined differently in different parts of the world than they are here. So what do you do about that? Sometimes fuel quality is a problem.
Yeah, big problem.
So what do you do about that? So, consistency, fuel quality, the way they rate octane in different parts of the world is different than the United States. So whereas we tell people you have to have at least 91 octane, well, if you went to Europe and you said 91 octane, well, that's like terrible gas. But their rating system's different. So it's really more equivalent to like 98 over there. So that's what you have to do. But you have to find the answers to all of those things and, make sure that you're good. Names of products, names, how it translates from English to whatever country you're going to be in can be problematic.
That's
so
true.
Even names on products can be difficult. So I'll pick on our competitor. When General Motors took the Nova to Spain, they didn't realize that in Spanish, Nova meant no go. They're trying to sell a car that doesn't go. How are you, we learned from those things, and we could laugh about it now because that was 50 years ago. But those kinds of things we have to think about. And we have to be cognizant of that as we go to different parts of the world.
And another point to that also is when we're developing parts, we also develop parts that will actually work in different countries. So we have to make sure that we have an exhaust system that will work out of the country. The wheels we're going to be able to work out of the country. The brake systems, those kind of things. So we look at these to where we can incorporate as many countries as we can. Sometimes when we go to a country, we're going to have to use a different style or different brand or something that works in that country. But everything we develop here, we try to make it very universal for the world.
But that makes sense because that means you have to make less of them, which means there's less molds and anything, and you can just keep pushing the product out to multiple places. Well, part of my business, besides for podcasts and stuff, is we actually help a lot of US companies with social media locally and this type of stuff, especially the branded guys. And we keep telling them that's why it's important to have a foot on the ground in a country, is to understand the challenges and everything that goes into it. Some of the brands, and that's very, very big ones that I deal with, when you sit and they go, oh, well, we want to do the, X, Y, and Z. And you go, well, unfortunately, that's not going to work here because where the technology is different, these guys don't work this way. You have to look at this part and this part. The guys buy differently, and you have to explain this. And then they sit back and they go, okay, well, the whole marketing plan that they had in their minds is now completely blown up because they keep thinking of they could just duplicate from the US into another country, and it doesn't work that way. Yeah.
No, it clearly doesn't. And like you said, you really have to go there and not only talk to the people, but walk a mile in their shoes, kind of thing. So, you go to their racetrack, you go drive on their streets, you have to live with it and park on their streets. And a lot of times those are very different than it is in the United States. So, and also the stuff that works over there wouldn't necessarily work here.
Exactly.
And we've run into that as well. But, as Vince mentioned, from the supply chain standpoint, it's opened our eyes to some new ways, new different technologies and things like that. And we're learning all the time from others. And they, we make the initial contact over there, they come here. We, do stuff here, we go there. So it's really a global business. It's a global economy. And that's how we're looking at you.
But once again, that's the beautiful thing about Shelby is the fact that you guys can hear about someone and bring them in immediately and have that conversation and adapt to that situation much quicker than a large company can do because there's just so much red tape that they need to go through before a decision can get made or before something can get looked at. And I mean, when I'm working with someone, it's hard to get hold of Ford and all these type of companies to approach them with anything, but yeah, like I said, it takes a brand like yourself with the amount of history and stuff behind it. It takes a village, if I want to put it that way.
Yeah, but like we say, we're a huge name with a small company. So we're able to get around and do a lot of things. We're able to, we're able to bring everybody in our group together and come up and make decisions right away.
Yeah.
Big advantage we have is the mod shops all over in different countries. We can listen to them. We bring them in and we talk to them. We have meetings all the time. What can we sell in your country? What is best for Shelby in your area? So that's an advantage. And the board, we just we can pretty much decide if that's what should be done or not. So it makes it easy.
I'm throwing mine into the hat. Okay, Shelby Raptor South Africa. Okay, Shelby Raptor. It's got to happen. Okay. On the Ranger. I've got a picture in my head. I'll get someone to draw it for you. I'll get my daughter to get the crayons out tonight and we'll make it happen. So yeah, guys, I don't want to keep you. I know you guys have a lot to do. Thank you for getting up so early and working with or to get on the show with me. It's been absolutely awesome talking to you guys.
Definitely. That's great. We should do this. Maybe it's something we could do every 6 months or a year.
Yeah, that would be great.
And, yeah, we're happy to do that.
That way we can kind of keep you up on what's happening, and as things progress here, more things that we can talk about.
As soon as you guys have something to talk about, let's go. It's going to be so exciting. Yeah, please tell me. And then look, once the shows and stuff start, if all goes well, I should be in Vegas for SEMA this year. So I think then we're gonna put in a shop visit. That's if you can get me away from Shelby by the end of it. Yeah, I hope there's something lined up to go drive it. So, but I'll speak to you guys closer to the time. All right.
Sounds great,
guys. Thank you so much. It was awesome talking to you.
Yep, it's great talking to you guys, and thank you all in South Africa for your passion for the brand and so forth. And that, once again, that's how the legacy continues, and it keeps Vince and I at work. So that's
that's the plus.
It's all about the people.
Yep.
Exactly.
That's what makes this company grow.
All right, guys. Thank you so much, man. Okay. Thanks,
Take
hey.
care.
Cheers. Bye.
Cheers.